Welcome to another episode of Well-Adjusted Mama. This is a podcast dedicated to educating and empowering women from preconception, pregnancy, birth, and through early motherhood on wellness lifestyle. I'm your host, Dr. Laura Brayton. I'm a maternity pediatric chiropractor and mother who has hand-selected experts in natural holistic healthcare specialties to shine light on options and choices during this exciting phase of a woman's life. And today, our topic is 3 simple ways to restore your health starting today. And my special guest is Kortney Leany. Kortney Leany was born near the picturesque Rocky Mountains of Colorado, and she grew up as a middle child in a loving family. Her journey of self-discovery began early, balancing parental expectations with her desire to forge her own path. Despite a small frame and an awkward growth spurt in high school, Kortney found her passion in weightlifting in 2012. Competing in 4 fitness competitions, she marveled at the body's adaptability, but also faced the harsh realities of strict diets leading to health issues like anxiety and extreme fatigue. Driven by her experiences, Kortney delved into gut health, sharing her struggles on social media and connecting with many who face similar challenges. Her quest for natural healing led her back to basics: grounding, sunshine, and whole foods. Now, as a mother of 2, she is dedicated to educating others about the profound impact of gut health on overall well-being, embodying resilience and the power of natural healing. She has joined forces with Vital Earth Minerals, a supplement company with the same passion for natural and holistic wellness as her own. And together they are working on bringing simple solutions to living healthier lives. Hi, Kortney. Welcome to the show. I'm very excited to have you on today.
Yes, I'm so grateful to be on your show. Thank you for having me on.
Yes, of course. So I'd love for you to just start off sharing a little bit about your personal story, kind of how you came on your health journey.
I think it all actually started back in about 2012 when I started getting interested in fitness competitions. I had never lifted weights. I had never really done anything other than play, I guess is what you would consider it up until that point. And so the fitness competitions showed me a different world. It was strict dieting, strict lifting. You get down to about 5% body fat.
Wow. As a woman.
It's not maintainable, but in your brain, you love the way that you look. And so it's hard to kind of let your body put on fat after that and be okay with it. So
right. Is it kind of like an eating disorder?
It's more of like body dysmorphia because you're eating a lot of food. That's one thing that I don't think people realize. You're eating every 2 to 3 hours. So it's, you have an unhealthy relationship with food, but it's not, I definitely wouldn't consider it an eating disorder. Not what I had to struggle with anyway. And so, getting off of that train, I realized that fitness and health were not always in the same realm. And so after dealing with some body dysmorphia things, I kind of had to step back from the fitness world. I was still a personal trainer and still trying to help guide other clients on their health journey. But for me, it kind of just switched this thing on in my brain that you can look healthy and be extremely unhealthy. So like a lot of the fitness influencers that I was following were actually falling apart and like mentally and physically, and you don't know it because they look good. So it was kind of just shaking up your whole world. One of those moments where you have like, I guess you could call it like a come to Jesus moment where it's just like, okay, I have to like refigure this all out. The world that I thought I was living in, everything I thought was a certain way isn't anymore. And so I really got into actually what foods are healthy. And that's even been evolving a lot in the last, I feel like 4 years. From where I was to feeling like I had a good grasp on eating like a balanced diet. I was still taking a ton of supplements though. And so I've kind of had to step back from that too, because a lot of that's processed. And so it's never ending learning. But I think once you get that little tiny grasp on, okay, I know what this is doing in my body, so I can choose to eat it or not, but at least I know what it's doing as far as, all these different chemicals and food dyes and all of that. And then having to integrate that into my children's diet as well, which was not easy because they were raised on fast food, even cooking things in the kitchen, things like, Lunchables and things where I could give them. And it was really easy for me to put something on a plate for them. So having to teach them about what was healthy too, and not just about, trying to feel satiated and full, and teaching them what food was doing in their bodies, that was like a whole nother level that I had to figure out after my fitness competitions too.
Wow. So that is very fascinating. Where you're speaking about how you're in fitness, your personal trainer. And I agree, most people would equate that with health for sure. Because you were working very hard on your body. There was an awareness of making your body a priority, but not necessarily your health a priority. I think that's the differentiation here. But regardless, I would have assumed that you were giving your kids healthy food that time too. So like when you mentioned Lunchables, I'm like, what are you talking about? Lunchables? Who eats Lunchables?
Oh gosh, it was bad. I look back now and it's just like,
were you eating? So you were eating your foods, and then you just bought the marketed kids foods, and that were obviously convenient as well, without reading labels, without an awareness of all the chemicals that go into these types of foods.
Oh yeah, I understand the whole, like, I'm not going to read labels. That's too overwhelming because you look at most labels and it's 25 ingredients and you don't even know half of them. And they're not necessarily bad just because you don't know how to pronounce them. But I'm like, this is way too overwhelming. I'm not going to read ingredients. I'm just going to give my kids cheese. And, they're getting ham in these Lunchables too. And crackers can't be that bad. But then realizing the process that goes into making these like food-like things that I was giving to my children and I was eating myself. Because like protein bars, which were like the love of my life while competing, they're food-like substances. They're not real food.
It's not real food. Yeah, it's not whole food. Agreed. And you can eat real ham and have healthier cheese and healthier, like there's healthier versions of that out there, right? So
yeah,
that's fascinating. So like what created this shift for you? You were having health symptoms and that was your come to Jesus moment? Like what happened?
There were a few things that happened. I had to realize that fat wasn't the culprit in putting fat on your body, that your body needed fat in order for your brain to function well. I learned that not all supplements, just because they're created for, in the health and fitness world, are not healthy. I was over supplementing and under eating nutritious food, so I was getting anxiety.
Is this all self-prescribed too? Like, how did you decide what to eat and what supplements to take?
Just being in the fitness world and, I was just following people that are like, oh my gosh, this brand is amazing. And, all these brands would explode because of really great marketing. And you see people that look healthy taking them. And so I'm like, oh yeah, and this will make my oatmeal taste great too. Like, of course I'll put this protein powder in there. Of course I'll have this energy drink. Like healthy people are promoting it. And so I was over caffeinated. So I had a lot of anxiety. I still wasn't feeling comfortable about my body. And so I started actually kind of training my clients to learn to love themselves through the process of changing instead of degrading themselves. Like, I hate my arms, I hate my stomach, I hate all these things. But I was really learning that in the process too. I hadn't gotten a grasp of it. So I started with gut health because I started hearing about the gut and brain barrier, how the gut's your second brain. And that was probably about 4 years after doing fitness competitions. And so I started really looking into gut health. And I realized that a lot of that, I would have had to give up a lot of my supplements and a lot of my caffeine that I loved so much. And I think when I got pregnant with my daughter, that all these things that I was implementing actually helped with my pregnancy with her and then with my recovery afterwards as well. Because I didn't struggle with the same like mental brain fog and like a lot of the things that I struggled with my son's pregnancy.
Your daughter was number 2.
Yes.
So there was a difference between those 2 pregnancies.
Yeah. Yeah. And I kind of knew it. I had a good muscle tone on me. I didn't realize how important muscle tone was too. But I started, stepping back from the macronutrients and started going as deep as I could. And that's when I found like trace minerals. And so I kind of started uncovering it from there. And then I was working at a hospital and got asked to do marketing for Vital Earth Minerals, which is crazy because I had already started kind of like researching these trace minerals and how important they are and how overlooked they were. I had never even heard of trace minerals when I was in the fitness industry. And they're kind of the foundation, I think, if you're going to be taking supplements to make sure that your trace mineral needs are met and what that's actually doing in your gut. So it was kind of this just crazy dynamic of things that just kind of started to come together. And then I started working for Vital Earth and learning about fulvic and humic minerals that are all the trace minerals and how important fulvic can actually be in the world that we live in now, where our foods, even whole foods, are mineral deprived and they're vitamin deprived. They just don't have the same amount as they did even 20 years ago.
Right. The soil is depleted, so the foods grown in it are deficient as well. Mm-hmm. Talk a little bit about those types of minerals that you were just mentioning for people that are not familiar.
Yeah. So the way that I like to describe it that helped me kind of put a picture in my head is your trace minerals are kind of like a symphony. So you can have all these little different instruments playing and they sound good by themselves, but once you bring them all together, that's when you create this amazing harmony between all of them. And you kind of have to have a conductor that knows what it's doing to help regulate that. So the fulvic that is in our minerals that we sell is kind of like the conductor of all these little trace minerals that are in this supplement, and you have the full symphony. So you're not missing anything. And what these allow is for all of your enzymatic functions need these trace minerals in certain amounts in order for your body to be working properly. Enzymatic functions are how your liver works and your heart beats and all of that. And so to be able to be missing one of them or depleted in one of them is going to throw off the entire orchestra, the entire symphony. So the nice thing about it is these fulvic and humic minerals have all 70 plus minerals that your body has to have to function well. Not only that, but they're in a way that your body knows how to absorb. It's a natural supplement. It's not man-made. We get it from so deep in the soil that it hasn't even been touched by man-made pollutants or chemicals. So you're just getting a really raw form that probably used to be in our foods a long time ago, but now they're not. And so instead of it being a supplement, it's kind of an essential thing that we need. And the fulvic in itself does so many things. Honestly, I don't want to overwhelm people with too much information, but it will deliver nutrients into your body, into your gut lining, into your cells. It can pass the blood-brain barrier in the fulvic solution. And so it's delivering these trace minerals everywhere that you need them. And then it's also pulling out toxins like glyphosate, like food dyes, like food colorings, things that get stored and built up in your tissues and can affect your gut and your gut lining. It's pulling all of those out. So it's not only delivering nutrients, but it's helping to restore the things that these chemicals have broken apart.
Wow, that is so powerful. I think for a lot of people, like symptoms of mineral deficiencies would also are like muscle spasms, certainly like the leg cramping. And just even like for me as a chiropractor, when I'm working on somebody and their muscles are always just feeling like systemically tight, like the whole body. It's not like just one area. That is indicative that there's, some maybe dehydration and also these mineral deficiencies, that they're not getting the minerals that they need in their diet.
Yeah. Yeah. And you see that a lot, even in the fitness world. Again, that's what I can relate to. So that's kind of like, where I go to with it. But a lot of people even start with the macronutrients. They're so focused on proteins, fats, and carbs that they're not even realizing they're missing the essential foundation that they need for those to be absorbed properly and utilized properly in the body. So you have people that are eating healthy diets. They're trying to eat organic. They're trying to, get these, the top shelf of these nutrients in, and they're missing those trace minerals, and your body just cannot absorb the nutrients that it needs and function properly. It can't take in those nutrients and use them if it's missing this foundation of these little micro things that are causing the enzymatic functions that your body needs to absorb nutrients.
How can someone tell if they are, I mentioned the tight muscles, but how can somebody tell if they need to take a supplement like this?
Honestly, if you're feeling like, a lot of people will do blood work for zinc, for example, we'll just use that one, and they'll get on a zinc supplement, and then they'll do their blood work again, and maybe that zinc was absorbed for a certain amount of time, and then your body's not absorbing it anymore and it drops back down. So even though they're taking an iron supplement or a zinc supplement, it's not being absorbed into the gut because their gut is full of toxins. It's not a healthy environment for these good things to even be able to thrive. And so they're flushed from the system. But you have a lot of people that are living off of vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc, but they're still getting their blood work coming back that they're depleted in these. And so if you feel like you're taking a supplement for a long period of time and you're not feeling more energy, and I'm not talking about like an initial spike of energy where maybe you feel good for the first week and then it kind of goes back to not feeling good. I'm talking long-term. Supplements, if they work, they should work long-term. And a lot of them don't. So your body can only hold so much. And if it's full of toxins, it's going to flush out the nutrients. So the nice thing about fulvic and humic is it pulls out those toxins from your body so that your body now has room to absorb the nutrients.
Right. So it's like also, I guess, working on healing leaky gut. If there is gut dysfunction, then we don't absorb our nutrients as well, all types of nutrients. So is that part of it as well, working on the gut lining?
Yeah, and it's kind of hard. It's not like a prebiotic like fiber. Like a lot of people take fiber to feed the good gut flora. It's a prebiotic in a way that it goes into the gut and it clears out the toxins so that the good microbes can start flourishing again. Because if your anaerobic microbes are the ones that are considered bad, but you need them too, you just don't want them in overabundance. If those are thriving, you can put prebiotics in your system all you want. And those prebiotics, it's like trying to drop a person onto the moon without the proper gear. They're not going to survive. You have to have the proper environment for good microbes to be able to live in. So it's healing the gut lining. It's restoring the gut lining. And then it's also creating an environment where the bad microbes and the good microbes are going to be more balanced and be able to work together. And so it's doing both, where when you're taking a supplement like a probiotic, it's not capable of flushing out your system and then nourishing those good gut microbes too. So honestly, I think anyone that is dealing with any gut issues or autoimmune issues would really thrive from taking these supplements, because autoimmune primarily starts with a poor gut health. So yeah, anyone that if you're symptomatic on a lot of things, but I believe in preventative. So even if you're feeling good about your health, I think you should be taking some form of trace minerals so that you can prevent your gut from having these issues that is systematic. Anything that happens in your gut, you're going to see happening throughout your system eventually.
That's right. And what about with kids? Are you giving this to your kids as well, the trace minerals?
Yeah. Yeah. And the fulvic is really easy to give to your kids. I'll even put it in a spray bottle so that they can spray it in their mouth. Any way where it's just fun for them to take it. Like my daughter loves spraying it in her mouth.
What does it taste like?
It tastes like water.
Okay.
It might have like a slight earthy taste, but you can mix it in your water and you're not going to be able to taste it. The fulvic and the humic combined is very dark. So sometimes it's hard to get kids to take that because it looks like black water. And even though it really doesn't have a flavor to it, some kids won't take that. So fulvic is the one that I give to my kids just because I can put it in, if they have like lemon water that they're having for soccer, I can put fulvic minerals in there. They're not even going to know I put it in. And that way that I know that they're getting, hydrated. They have those minerals that they need to be hydrated too. It's a really easy thing to give to your kids. And you're never going to get toxic levels of these because it's an all natural substance. Your body knows how to use it and it knows how to work very well with your body. So it will flush any of these minerals that you already have a good balance of out of your system. It's only going to deliver them if your body needs them. So you don't ever have to worry about toxic levels of these minerals building in your system.
Right. And I think a lot of people are magnesium deficient, and that definitely will impact sleep and, just kind of relaxation of the muscles and of the mind. So do people see quality sleep and improvements in that as well?
Yeah. And the nice thing about fulvic, because it's able to penetrate into the cell, which a lot of these other supplements, they can't. They're pushed into the gut, and a lot of them aren't even absorbed. It will actually work with the supplements that you're taking. So if you're taking a magnesium supplement, even though it has trace amounts of magnesium, your body needs more magnesium than the trace levels that are in the fulvic. So if you're taking it with fulvic will actually make whatever supplements that you're taking more bioavailable. So it will carry it into the cell and make it more, so your body is able to use it better than it would initially. And that's one thing that I learned about the supplement industry too, is a lot of the supplements that you're taking are flushed out of your system. And so that you spend a lot of money on supplements. So you want your body to be using as much of them as possible. So that's really what I love about these products. This company is not here to compete with other supplement companies. It actually works hand in hand, just making their product, it's heightening the effects of these other products that people are taking them with.
Right. So it's in a liquid form, not capsule.
No, we do have one capsule of the humic to make it easier to travel with because they're in 32-ounce bottles.
Oh.
And you can't really travel with that. If you're flying, you can't bring that with you unless you put it in your own little containers. So we just made the capsules for travel, but we try and stick with all liquid supplements because we just know that they're more bioavailable that way.
Mm-hmm. You do like a shot in the morning?
Yeah. So fulvic, you can take up to 3 capsules a day. I would recommend taking it in the morning because it's going to increase your cellular voltage, which is your energy. Kids and athletes have very high cellular voltage. And you can tell because they're go, 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 and they don't need to nap during the day. Fulvic is going to increase your cellular voltage. So it's not like caffeine where it is you suppressing those hormones that are telling you that you're tired. It's actually just creating that nice, healthy energy in your cell that you used to have when you were little. So I like to take it during the day because it will help you function better throughout the day. But we have a lot of people that take our humic supplements at night, and that way they're sleeping through a lot of the detox symptoms that you can have when you take a supplement like this. And that's one thing I think that a lot of people need to understand with, even if you're eating a healthier diet and you're doing anything to kind of cleanse your system, you're going to go through a period where your body might not feel great because it's detoxing. And I think we get a lot of phone calls about people being like, I had constipation, I had diarrhea, I had brain fog. And a lot of these are really attributed to heavy metal toxicity. And so when you're stripping your body of these things that have been in your tissues and your system for a really long time, it's going to feel uncomfortable. And to just bear through those moments of discomfort to get to where your body is finally starting to recalibrate and be able to utilize nutrients again.
Right. And clear it out.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So, Kortney, what are the 3 simple ways to restore your health? I didn't ask that question in the beginning because we were talking about your story, but now I'm asking it.
Yeah. And again, simple is not always easy. So I know it's hard to break habits. But I would tell people to start with a good foundation. Trace minerals are the foundation that helped me alleviate a lot of the things that I was dealing with mentally. Again, I attribute that to giving my body, starting with the basics, that foundation of those small little nutrients that we overlook. You can do that with whole food, but if you feel like you're not getting enough whole foods, or if you feel like you are taking in, toxins and pollutants on a regular basis, which most of us are, starting with these trace minerals is going to be like just such a good solid foundation. And then everything else that you do on top of that, taking your magnesium supplement, taking your vitamin A and your vitamins and your calcium and magnesium, all of that is just going to start working so much better in your body. And then movement and connecting with nature more. I know it's kind of like a hippie thing. I think it's finally, getting out of the hippie zone and coming more mainstream, which I love. But honestly, I really think that we're so separate from nature that it's not our natural state to be, living the way that we're living. So those would be the 3 things I would recommend. Getting your micronutrients in, movement. It does not have to be getting into a gym. You can literally jump around on a little teeny trampoline in your house. Like, you can jump up and down, getting your lymphatic system moving on a regular basis. Even if you sit throughout the day, you can stand up and, move around, shake your body out. It doesn't have to be lifting weights. You don't have to be trying to get a 6-pack. But your body does need movement. And then getting outside, getting sunshine, and putting your feet on the ground every now and then, I think all those things have benefited me tremendously. And it sounds so simple that we're kind of used to extravagant fixes to things. And I know it's not extravagant, but I think the simplicity of it is what makes it work so well.
Right. It's doable. I mean, I think, even, people that are working on a computer now understand like, hey, I can have a standing desk. I can have a walking, treadmill desk. Like, I can still have some activity even despite my, attachment to my computer for my professional reasons. But, scheduling time with nature is so important. And, I know for me, I lived in the city, for so many years and always knew I wanted to be hiking more and doing more nature, but it required I had to schedule a time to go hiking on a weekend and drive there. And it was just something that wasn't happening on a very regular basis. So for me, moving to a home where, I walk my son to school every day and I'm walking in nature every day, just for, and that is just a part of our life now, right? So that was a game changer for my family, to live in a different environment than when we were in the city.
Yeah. And you have a lot of things that are coming out now that's like biohacking. And a lot of that can be expensive and overwhelming, where really it's simulating a lot of what you can get for free in nature. And so I think a lot of people, me being a single mom, I was always like, how can I save money? How can, I don't even have $100,000 to spend on, all these little biohacking technologies out there. And from everything that I've looked at, they're making it easier to assimilate what nature already does. So like if you can't get out in nature, I think grounding mats and red light therapy are amazing, but it's assimilating the same thing as just going and putting your feet on the ground and getting some sunshine. So if it's something that people can't afford, you don't have to feel like you're missing out because you can go and get these things from going outside.
Right. And also, ideally the air quality is better than inside. And, I love even with my son's school, like they really make a priority of doing outdoor recess despite if it's cold. They're just like sending, warmer clothes for your child to, dress appropriately and play outside for the 20, 30 minutes of their gym and recess, right? So I think these things are really important for us to remember that we don't have to just wait for quote unquote perfect weather to be outside. We, dress for the rain, dress for the snow, whatever's going on with Mother Nature. We don't have to be confined to the indoors.
Yeah, absolutely. And even like with my kids, making them like allowing them to be bored and then they will go outside instead of having them confined to, even if it's cold outside, like you said, they're going out, like kids, they thrive on it.
Yeah.
So yeah. And they're getting a lot of, you're getting a lot of health benefits from it that I don't think people realize how good it actually is. So
yeah, I mean, I even had a guest come on once talking about being outside for the sunrise and the sunset and how healthy that was for our circadian rhythm. And, when I was doing that consistently, I really felt a difference. And so that is also just utilizing nature, right? Like, you know what I mean? It's not rocket science, but when we are really more in tune with our, natural environment, our bodies will thrive.
Yeah, and to use technology for your advantage too, because I think a lot of people have become fearful of their phones and their computers, but I use the EWG app to scan products around my house, and that tells me, there's a lot of toxins in this product and here's what they do to you. I use the Yucca app to scan my food. And you can use technology for your advantage too, to help you with your journey into living a healthier life. You don't have to be afraid of it or think it's just all bad. It doesn't have to be.
Correct. I agree. There's tech has some really amazing ways to make our lives a little bit simpler if we know how to use it. Those apps are helpful. I mean, there's a circadian app that lets me know when the sun is rising so I can make sure to catch that sunrise. So like these types of things that are provided by tech.
Yeah, absolutely. If you're going to have it, you might as well take advantage of what it's offering you. That's how I was able to even find out about gut health and all of this, was from listening to podcasts and watching YouTube. So it's really been a blessing in my life, and, learning how to balance how much I'm using it has been a challenge, but
right. Exactly. I think it is about a balance and recognizing that, too much tech is also not good for our health, but, that's where there's those times in nature. And I think, even when we are outside in nature, we're ideally away from the tech at that point, right? And we're just really connecting to nature. And then when we come back inside, we can, use the tech again as needed. So sometimes it's like, oh, I'm going to go for my nature walk and I'm going to catch up with my podcast and I'm going to try to multitask. But then you're completely disconnecting from where you are in your external environment and really listening to the sounds of the birds and really appreciate. You can't do that, when you try to do multitask, right? So I think sometimes less is more too when we're, living our lives.
Absolutely, especially with how overstimulated you are, like all of us. And I notice it when I try to do like meditation or just sitting in silence. And then like the next thing I know, I'm like grabbing for my phone and I'm like, you'd even go like a full 5 minutes without being like, what, I need to like have something stimulating me.
Yeah. It's like an unconscious thing.
Yeah. And I think women especially, I think we adapt better to being overstimulated because, being that we can have children. I think that we can disassociate well. And so having this like harmonious balance happening in your body with how much we can adapt to the world around us is so important. But then getting out and having those quiet moments too, like women don't give themselves enough credit for how overstimulated we actually are all the time and how much pressure that we put on us. I can't speak for men. I know we're all living in the same world and perceiving it differently. But I know as far as like the moms that I've seen, it's just like we're all so overstimulated when we have this pressure to, you know, have the best birthdays, have the best get togethers, planning this, planning that, having everything look like it's all together. And going out in nature, even if you really don't love nature that much, it really does calm your system down. And it gets you into that parasympathetic nervous system. And we don't get that a lot. So I think honestly, getting out and allowing your body to be calm and learning to feel comfortable again in the calm is one of the best things that you can do for yourself.
It's so true. Yeah, that overstimulation is essentially that oversympathetic nervous system, right? So really consciously doing things that help to enhance our parasympathetics, nature. You know, as a chiropractor, I'm a fan of chiropractic adjustments for helping with that parasympathetic balance. But meditation's another good way to do it. And just some mindfulness activities. It could be maybe you're cooking a meal in your kitchen or you're doing an activity, right? We don't have to just sit still on a mat, but you're doing it from a calm, mindful place as opposed to a rush, like I'm just rushing through my life, checking off my to-do list and getting a lot done, but not doing it in that calm, mindful way and really doing it from a stressed, you know, fight or flight manner, right? I mean, so it's really interesting when we can look at like, okay, there's things I want to create. I want to, you know, make a healthy dinner for my family tonight, right? You know, I can do it from a sympathetic state or I can do it from a parasympathetic state. And it's my choice, you know, and hey, if kids are old enough, maybe I can bring them in the kitchen and we can do it together. And it could be, you know, a fun family event and, you know, they're learning how to cook healthy and why it's important and how, you know, how the foods we put in our body can be nourishing or not. Like, right. These are things that we can start teaching our children at a pretty young age and recognizing, okay, if we want to have a couple sweets here and there, these are treats, these are special. And this is not part of our regular consumption, right? It's really being mindful. It's not all or nothing either, but it's like if we are going to eat something, we know how we're, you know, if it has some sugar in it, we know what it's going to do. We know the consequences and we're okay with that.
Yeah. I think that's empowering though.
Yeah.
Once you know, because like me and my kids still eat, you know, cake and, you know, we'll have Talkies. Kids love Talkies. I can't stand Talkies, but they love them. And what is a Talkie? I don't even know. Oh my gosh, it's disgusting. It's like a Cheeto, but it's flat. It's like it's not bumpy and it's spicy. And it has that like lemony flavor on it, which I think, you know, stimulates their taste buds, which makes them just want more and more. But I think they're disgusting. My kids both love Talkies and they're still allowed to have it, but I also educate them on, okay, this has food dyes in it. This has a lot of chemicals in it. And my son loves soccer. So I equate it to like, this isn't going to hurt you if you have it every once in a while. But if you have this all the time, it's going to affect your ability to be able to play soccer or to snowboard when you get older. And so you get to choose, like, they don't always get to choose what they want to eat. But I'm like, if you want to have Talkies right now, you can, but I want you to know why I'm not giving them to you all the time instead of just being like, nope, that's not good for you. You can't have that. Kids learn things, they hold on, they retain information so well. So educating your children the same way that you're educating yourself and making it so that they can attribute to like, oh, if I eat healthier, I get to keep doing the things that I love for longer. That's one thing that I think I wasn't always bringing my kids along in my health journey. And once I started including them in the things that I was learning, I was shocked at how much they actually were listening and remembered for what I was telling them.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. So bring your kids along. Let them learn what you're learning too. And don't It doesn't have to be from a place of fear or, being scared of food, being scared of toxins. Like, our
Right.
bodies are remarkable. And if you're giving them the basics of what they need, they're going to do okay.
Yeah, I think that's a really valid point too. It isn't making decisions out of fear. It's really out of empowerment, education. So recognizing, yes, I'm choosing to eat this food that does have chemicals in it on occasion. And I'm okay with it because it brings joy, right? Like there's some joy with it. But I also know if I eat this on a regular basis, I'm going to get sick, right? Because it's going to create breakdown in my body and cause dis-ease. So, it's really recognizing that balance. And when kids own that, I think that's powerful because then we see as they get to become tweens and teens, we have less and less control over what they eat, right? And their friends have a lot of peer pressure that comes up with food, right? And so, we want them to be still ideally making healthier choices despite what their peers are eating. But that has to come from within them, right? Because we won't be there to control it. That's part of their becoming an independent little person.
Yeah. And with how much they're getting from social media, I can't even tell you how many young girls that I've talked to that already have body image issues and they're not even in their teens yet. And I think the more that you can empower children with knowledge, the more that you talk to them about their own health and things that they can do to feel better and to love themselves along their journey of their body just doing crazy things, that they need that probably more than ever right now, because I know what social media has done to me as someone where I feel like I have a pretty solid foundation of like who I am and, learning to appreciate myself and my body. And it still is hard for me to get on social media and have all these, the 1% that hit the genetic lottery popping up on my feed that I'm comparing myself to. I can't even imagine being a child. And so instead of like, you're teaching them how to cross the road in a safe way instead of teaching them it's scary to cross the road and don't do it.
Right.
And I think that's the best thing because eventually they're going to be around their peers. And
yes, exactly. So I think, that is what parenting is all about really, is just, it's not parenting out of fear or manipulation even, right? Because eventually we won't have that type of power anymore when they get older. And then they're not going to understand, why did my mom want me to not eat this or drink this or whatever, right? And there's a lot of pressure that comes from the peers. So I think that is our job as parents, for sure.
Yeah.
It's a big job.
Yeah, and they do mimic you. I mean, my daughter, she'll ask to take her minerals in the morning because she watches me do it and she knows that, I'm trying to take care of myself and living healthier. And kids are mimicking, whether you know it or not, little things that you're doing and living your life. And so it does make me feel good to know that they have these little tools and these little things that are, fun for them to feel like they get to be included in, but it's also good for them. And it's easy to do. It's not another thing that I have to do to overwhelm my mom's schedule. It's again, just something that's like, okay, we're all doing this right now. We're all just going to take our little shot of minerals and be done. Or we're all going to go get sunshine. And like, you do one good thing a day and you're doing pretty good.
That's right. That's right. I think that's a good goal for all of us, just to be conscious. Like, I'm committing to do this one thing that I know is going to benefit me primarily, right? Putting ourselves first. And then that will certainly trickle down and benefit the rest of the family. Kortney, this has been an awesome conversation. I want to just ask if you had any last thoughts you want to share, and also if you could talk about how to find this mineral supplement you were talking about.
Yeah, absolutely. The thing that I would tell people is if you're feeling overwhelmed, simplify. It's okay to take things away from your daily habits. It's okay to take things off of your list of things that you feel like you need to do on a daily basis. simplify it. And then once you feel like you have a good grasp of the few things that you're doing every day, then add from there. Don't try and do everything all at once. None of us can handle that. We all fall off the bandwagon when we try and take on too much. So start with 3 or 4 things that you can do every day to make you feel better, and then build from there. And then Vital Earth, they can visit us at our website, www.vitalearthminerals.com. Our contact information is on there. You can get a hold of me personally from the phone number on there. So you can call and just ask for Kortney if you need more guidance in what supplements to take, and any concerns that you have. If you are taking supplements, they might not be working, you can call and I'm available to answer questions like that as well. And then our Instagram, Vital Earth Minerals, for Facebook and Instagram. So we have the same logo on all of our pictures, so we've made ourselves pretty easy to find.
Awesome. Well, Kortney, thank you once again for coming on the show today.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for having me, and I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day.
Well, I hope you enjoyed today's episode with Kortney. She's so passionate about health and healing, especially for families, and really recognizing that our children deserve the best foods, minimizing pesticides and minimizing the ultra-processed foods, and really how we can build healthy children based off of lifestyle as well as heal ourselves. And if you want to find out more about the mineral products she was mentioning, Vital Earth Minerals, go check out their website at vitalearthminerals.com.